Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? How's it going? Guys, gals, everyone. Did y'all watch the What If? Oh my God. They've really got a lot planned, evidently, with multiverse. I'm hoping that they're going to do the Spider-Man multiverse with Toby and Andrew, to tell you the truth. But they're really touching on that with this What If. And this one that came out this week, man, I tell you, the first 10 minutes of it, I was just breaking out in tears watching the gosh darn thing. So it's a good one. It's Doctor Strange. Um, if you're not a subscriber to Disney, they just raised the price on it a month or so ago. It's $13.99. You're really missing out. I mean, you're missing out. That's all I can say. If you're a Marvel fan and you're not subscribed to Disney, you're really missing out. Anyhow, I also subscribed to HBO Max so I could start watching the DC universe because I didn't see any of those. And my goodness, this screen is filthy, isn't it? I can finally see the video. Took it that long to pop up. Let's clean this off. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Anyhow, I researched which movies to watch in order of their release, not necessarily chronological order. Because, for instance, you can watch the Marvel movies in chronological order, which puts, Captain America and Captain Marvel ahead of everything else. The problem is, it's still a retro thought. Yeah, there are scenes in the movie that took place in 1940s. There's scenes in the movie that took place in 1980s. But the movie really takes place in the day that it was released. So I don't believe in watching them in chronological order in that regards because it's really not true. Because there's knowledge that you are not necessarily told that you would know better going the other direction. You know what I mean? So anyhow, the first one it said to watch was Man of Steel, which I'd never seen. What a disappointment. And I know you guys are probably going to hate me saying that. The acting was great. The characters that they had were wonderful. The development of the characters was nice. The photography, the cinematography was outstanding. The world that they created was beautiful. The action was on point, but the story, oh God! I swear to God, I'm an hour into the movie, and I'm hour something movie, and it was just. They tried to tell a lot of story in one movie that they really had no business doing. They really had no business telling all of that story in one movie, and a train wreck. And I can see now why people outlash against the DC universe. A couple years back, they were literally fighting the DC and the Marvel universes, and people were saying that they would say how terrible this DC movie was and how great the Marvel movie was, and the DC fans would literally just go and sabotage the Marvel Rotten Tomatoes and all these review sites just to try to claim that the Marvel guys were slamming all the DC ones, and that's not the case. I have complete and utter respect for Superman. I've seen all the Christopher Reeves movies. I've seen I watched Lois Clark versus Lois Clark. I watched Smallville. I've seen all of them except for the latest 10 years or so, or whatever it is. All of them except for the latest 10 years or so, or whatever it is. And just because I hadn't gotten time to watch all those, it had nothing to do with anything. I love Superman. He was my first superhero. And it just wasn't a good movie in that regards. And I hate to say that. I know you guys are going to hate on me for saying that, but it's just the absolute truth. It could have been done so much better. And it had nothing to do, like I said, cinematography, off the charts. Action, beautiful. The acting by the characters, believable. I felt for every character in every emotional crisis that they were put in. I cheered for them at every moment when they needed to be cheered for. I hated the bad guys and wanted to boo and hiss them. Okay, that was properly done. The story sucked. So I guess now I'm watching Batman, which I think I've seen before. I think I've seen this Batman. The Dark Knight Rises, I think, is the next movie that it said I have to watch. And I don't know, is that the one with Heath Ledger? Because if it is, I've seen it, but but I'll watch it again because it's the way that it goes. And I don't remember having a problem with the Heath Ledger Batman. If I remember correctly, I think I enjoyed it. But I think that's the next movie that comes up. But I was really extremely disappointed with Man of Steel. I mean, just oh god. And what an all-star cast too, you know. So it just, and no, I'm not looking at it with backwards eyes. I'm not looking at it with by today's standards and such. Because if I was, then I'd be complaining about the animations and as such. But I can't. I recognize it as at that time that was cutting edge technology. By today's standard, that's a whole different ball of wax in regards to computer graphics on things. So I wasn't looking at it with retrospective eyes. I was looking at it as what it was and is, because there are things in the movie that are timeless no matter what. That cinematography was amazing, and the actors brought the story to life. They brought each character to life. Henry Cavill did a wonderful Superman. I mean, I had no idea that Russell Crowe was playing his dad, and that Paul Kent, what's his name? Literally what came to my mind was, God damn, he built that baseball field and Superman arrived. Kevin Costner. I had no idea that these powerhouses were in this movie. And so I expected a lot more. And the actors delivered. The story sucked. I hate to say it. So enough about that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. But that's so don't hate on me too much. I love Superman. Love the whole story. I mean, he's Superman. He is. No one could argue that. I don't think there's anybody in the Marvel universe who can whip him. Maybe the Hulk. Maybe. And maybe one of the Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch, something along that line through the mystic arts or mystical powers could probably whip him. But I think still he'd get the best of them eventually. I don't think you could really whip Superman. I think he's Superman. Simple as that. So all respect and props go to him, but that movie was terrible. Toy Mafia, good morning. How you doing, man? Jake, how's it going? Thank you. Doing good. Damon Zap. Yes, thank you. It is an awesome way, isn't it? Thank you. Dagger Ansis, how's it going, man? CBS Sci-Fi, how are you doing? Robert, happy Saturday. Thank you. Yes. Who's a really good ventriloquist? Me? Like I said, in regards to every other thing, the movie was a pleasure to watch in that regard. But the story, too much story. The old Dune movie, the original Dune movie, was Sting in it, and I don't remember the names of any of the other actors in it. I just remember Sting. Problem with that was huge story to tell in an itty bitty time frame. And when you start doing this, which the Superman story where they were is a huge story to tell. I mean, they went backwards even. They told story that I didn't even know. They told story of Krypton. We knew of Krypton. I did, obviously, that it was destroyed. He was sent away. It was the only piece of equipment that they could get him off was just him. He was the only one that could be sent out. Zod was put to and his soldiers were put to punishment, and that's how they escaped the death of Krypton. We knew all that, but to see Krypton created, oh, what a beautiful place, or interesting place, but it wasn't necessarily beautiful, but an interesting place, and to see the politics and the structure of it, and they just told this huge, amazing story of Krypton, which was great to know, which I had no knowledge of, because I didn't totally immerse myself into the Superman stories as I was growing up. He was my superhero, but I didn't know all of that. So they built this beautiful Krypton story. That in amongst itself is a story. Then they had, the birth, the raising of Superman in Smallville. A whole other story. Hell, there's an entire series, 2 series about that. Television series is about that, and so they're telling the story of Krypton. They're telling the story of Smallville. They're telling the story of Zod exacting his revenge on Superman. They're telling the story of the building of the Fortress of Solitude. I mean, all of these are single stories in amongst themselves, shoved into one story. You can't do that. It was too much rushed, and it really deserved more. It deserved to be split into at least two. It really did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've heard the stories in the other Superman movies. We know the stories, but by golly, you're telling the story now in this century with the new Superman, and kind of like, yeah, in the multiverse of Spider-Man, they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We all know the story. And Tobey Maguire, we didn't get the entire background story again. I mean, Tom Holland, we didn't get the entire background story of Spider-Man again because we already know it. We know it to death. We got it with Andrew Garfield. We know it with Tobey Maguire. And even in the multiverse story, they're like, okay, one last time, I'm the one and only Amazing Spider-Man or whatever. And because we know the story, we know the story, we know the story, we know the story, we know the story. But they told a different story or story that I didn't necessarily know. I was glad to see that. But when you start compounding that, elements of the story get muddled, and then you have a bad story being told. And that's the fault of the movie. Nothing else. Like I said, the praises are the acting, the cinematography, the gosh, I want to say that Snyder did a great job of directing, but because the story was so tough, I'm trying not to hold that against him. You know what I mean? There's only so much that a director can do before they start editing and cutting it up, and some of the story gets lost, and maybe that might have been the thing. But he was able to make the actors bring the story to life, so obviously that's part of his job. He was obviously able to communicate to the director of cinematography to do what they did. So all of these other elements were just dead on. It was just too much story in too little of a time, and at 2 hours and 22 minutes, I think was the runtime on it. I don't know how much of that was actual movie and how much of it was credits, but that's even then, that's a long story, and that shows you that they just had so much story to get out there. So I hope it gets better as it progresses. That's what I really truly hope. I really truly hope, because I hear from you guys, the other enthusiasts in the hobby, and our passion, that some of you really say that these movies are great, and I really want to go into a movie with that open mind. For instance, I've heard nothing but bad about, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I've heard nothing but bad about the new Space Jam with LeBron James, and I love LeBron James. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. The live action with him and his sons, and I'm like, I don't know what everyone's complaining about. And then they got to the bug scene, and I'm like, oh my god. And it just went bad. It just went right down in the toilet. I mean, instantly, just like blah. I was like, now I see what everyone's talking about. But so that's how that works. Let's catch up on the chat. I gotta say the dog. Yeah, oh god. Yeah. Perfect example, the tornado dog thing. Some of it was just stupid writing. I'm sorry. That was just stupid. Kevin Costner did a great dad. I never expected to see him as Pa Kent. I really didn't. And through the timeline issues of multiple Supermen, whatever else, and multiple universes, blah 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 blah, Pa dies before Clark ever makes it to the Daily Planet. So that's interesting. I didn't know that Pa had died before the Daily Planet. I think in Adventures of Lois and Clark, Pa's alive while Clark's working at the Daily Planet. So, again, multiple Supermen, multiple timelines, multiple universes, different Supermen, different stories. So I didn't expect them to kill Pa. It was definitely a good reason for him to become Superman, because, and of course, there's the old stories of, Superman literally was flying as a baby toddler. I remember vividly in the comic book as I'm reading it, at the doctor's office, he's flying up to the lights in the ceiling. So he's always had that superpower. He didn't have to learn how to fly, more or less, which they showed later. So again, different Superman, different stories, different timelines, different universes, etc., etc., etc. So it was interesting how they did that. They had good intentions. They had a good plot. They had a good area they were trying to get to, but way too much story. Way, way, way too much story to be told in one movie. It's a crying shame. Uh, Gotta save the dog. I don't know what to say about that, saving that dog. I was like, are you kidding me? Really? 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 And that was supposed to be the first movie, the one that set it all up. 80 Adams as Lois. I think they did a good Lois. I do. I thought that was a great Lois. I thought it was a great Lois. My favorite Lois, however, Adventures of Lois and Clark. That's my favorite Lois, hands down. Swear to God, best Lois in my opinion ever. Adventures of Lois and Clark. I'm afraid they would not get to make another. Yeah, it's quite possible. Um, what's his name that did Lord of the Rings? He the story is, and you guys probably already know this, but I'll share it anyhow. His story is that when he approached the movie production houses to make the movie Lord of the Rings, the first three that were made 20 years ago, how long ago those came out, he went there hoping to get two movies, and was pitching only one, but was truly trying to say, I need to get two movies out of this. And after he pitched it, supposedly they said, no, we're not we're not paying for one, we're not paying for two movies. And instantly he was like, oh, well, so much for that. They said, we need three. And that is what it should have been with Superman. I guess maybe they were just afraid because we just kind of got out of the Andrew Garfield thing, right? And the Tobey Maguire 3. And, maybe they were still just a little frightful of superhero movies at that point. So maybe they were just like, I don't know. Let's just see what happens with one. And maybe you're right. Maybe that's exactly what it went down. And they're like, we're not going to get another shot to do this. There's not going to be a Superman 2, so might as well just do this right the first time and tell as much story as we can. And unfortunately, it made the movie not as good as it could have been. So, good morning, Willie. How you doing? Dark Knight Rises is great. Is that the next one? Is that the next one up? Is it Dark Knight Rises? And is that the one with Heath Ledger? Because if I remember that, I thought Heath was an amazing Joker, and there's been so many great Jokers. I mean, even back in the campy Batman '60s, what's his name? Caesar. Anyhow, and of course, God, who can say anything about Jack? Jack was an amazing Joker. I think Heath Ledger did Joker justice. I think he really did. And what a tragic loss losing Heath Ledger. That could have been something else. It really could have. How much better or how different would have been the continuation of Joker. And I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Joker or Suicide Squad movies either. Any of those with the Jared Leto. So I couldn't tell you. I'm coming to those, and I just wonder how those movies would have been with Heath Ledger playing the Joker, right? And I don't know because I have nothing to compare it to because I've not seen those movies yet. So I can't say one or the other. How Jared Leto may be a better Joker than Heath Ledger. I couldn't tell you. Only because I have not seen it yet. Happy Saturday, Willie. Krypton Fine. Tour mom and dad had a nasty divorce, and your dad was on that roof with the damn rocket saving you. Johnny, good morning. Thank you. It is a good morning, isn't it? Beautiful Saturday. Dark Knight Rises is not the Heath Ledger one. Okay, so this is the one with where he goes off to learn how to become Batman with Liam Neeson, right? I did see that one too. Good. Okay, so Dark Knight Rises is not Heath Ledger. It is the one after that. However, it is not part of the same universe. It is the end of the Nolanverse. Okay. I'm not saying don't watch Dark Knight Rises. It just means don't expect it to fit into the universe of Snyder. Okay. And that's good to know. You know, even Marvel has their issues with timelines and transferring over universes, and hopefully in this Disney combination of all of the licenses and Sony's continued support of the MCU, maybe we can actually start getting something that totally makes sense. Because truthfully, the X-Men was a mess, absolute mess. So Jack 89 Joker, what got me into Hot Toys? Oh my goodness, those are some amazing Hot Toys. I've seen them, and again, I'm just staying away from the DC only because it's a whole another sinkhole that I would totally get sucked into. You know what I mean? As soon as I make that one, and I've already done one with Deathstroke back there, and I justify it because it's a multiverse Deadpool. It's the only reason I can even say why I even have it, because really it is truly the first Deadpool, honestly. Um, but gosh, get me started on DC. I won't stop with just one Superman. I mean, what do I get? Henry Cavill. Then I'm also obviously going to have to get Christopher Reeves, and then I'm going to have to try to figure out some way of kit bashing a Adventures of Lois and Clark and Lois from that, because I don't think they've ever made figures of those, which really weren't superhero figures because they would just be normal people figures essentially. I mean, we did see him don his uniform most of the time, or his costume or outfit, or however you want to say it, but mostly it was just them, the adventures of Lois and Clark. It wasn't the adventures of Superman. It was the adventures of them as more or less lovers, normal people. So I would just so get sucked into that. And then I had to buy, how many gosh darn Batmans would I have to buy, and every single Joker. And the next thing you know, I'd have to have another room in the house just for the DC universe. And because I won't stop, I won't stop, I won't stop. I won't stop. I won't. And of course, I'd have to get Justice League, every iteration of that as well. A never ending cycle, never ending. You have to draw a line somewhere and try not to fall off of that line, which I have. Starting to add to my Star Wars collection. Ugh. Really? The new Batman is supposed to be a horror movie, huh? Ben Affleck is Snyder versus Batman, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Justice League is Snyder's trilogy. Okay. Well, they bring out 1/6 figurines for the new. Oh, when is that coming out, by the way? Anybody know for a fact? I'm really hoping Dune is good. I mean, I really am. It's a great story. It's a great story. So, what do I have? I have Mysterio, and I have Dr. Green, which is the. Let's get that open. Bruce Banner. Isn't that funny? We only got one Bruce. We only got one Bruce. I really am still hoping that they do the rest of the team suits. I mean, they've done one, and then you have to kit bash to make the others, right? Anyhow, I ordered Jow dolls. I ordered every single Jow doll that I could find. I was trying to find the seamless small breasts. I think it's 05B or something like that. I don't know. If you guys know where I can find the seamless small breast in the YS skin, let me know, because that's what I need for Joy. So I'll be getting a mess of Jowl dolls coming. I was so wrong. I was so wrong on my impression of Jowl dolls. I respected them, of course, but thought they were all just big busted detachable figures, and that's not the case. There's a lot of them. I think I ordered like geez, maybe 20 of them are coming. I think. So we'll see. We will see how that turns out. Be able to do a nice comparison between them and the Fisons and see where it stands in regards to when to use which when. Woo Toys 008. What else has Woo Toys made? This is obviously their 8th figure. One thing I never liked about the original Bruce Banner, now keep in mind this is back when Hot Toys was still relatively new to all this. So they started, I think, in 2000 and made, for the most part, military figures back then. And so Bruce was made a long time ago. And he just looks frumpy. He just looks frumpy. And I never really respected the frumpy Bruce, you know? And that's a crying shame. I mean, I never thought of Bruce as being a joke. You know, they kind of play it off that, you know, he's not the Hulk. He's not. And oh God, what's his name? The actor that plays Bruce. He does a great job of letting you know that he's not the Hulk. He's mild-mannered Bruce Banner, like mild-mannered Clark Kent. And that's interesting, you know, when you start thinking about that now. The Hulk is probably the only one that could really defeat Clark. It just in a slugfest. Literally. And they both play mild-mannered opposites. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type things. And no, Superman and Clark are not really a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Hulk definitely is. But their alter egos are weak versus strong. Spider-Man kind of does the same thing as well, only because he's hiding his identity. He has to pull his punches, more or less. It's nice seeing a display stand from third-party vendors. A lot of times they don't bother. They figure, what the hell, you've already got enough display stands laying around. Why should I give you one? So it's nice to have something to display with. Although these are the ones I don't much care for. They split right down this side so easily from the this spread that's pushing against it the entire time, and it just pops them right open after time. So not my favorite, this isn't, but probably going to have some Hot Toys ones that would fit this. Maybe in the rectangular shaped ones would probably fit this just as well. So it's a minor problem because I have so many other figures. Now, if this is your only figure ever that you've ever bought, then just know this is probably going to split. So be prepared for that. All right, let's take it out just to save it from itself. I am loving the What If storylines. Absolutely loving it, and will buy anyone that comes out. I've already ordered. Wait, none of them have been out yet, have they? Somebody told me that Captain Carter and the Ironmonger variants, I forget what they call it, the Nazi Stomper or something. I forget what it's called. Have been announced, but I've not seen them. Reeves is my Superman. Don't have a Cavill. Do not want. Don't know. Don't know. Not. Do I want one? I would say he's a good Superman, but it will always be Christopher Reeve. You can't beat Reeve. You know what I mean? Just like Linda Carter will always be my Wonder Woman. Yeah, 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 yeah. October 22nd is Dune. Thank you, Damon. Very nice. Everyone has their favorite Superman. Everyone has their favorite Doctor Who. And, that's the thing about it as well. Everyone has their own Spider-Man. We, whoever it is that we grew up with or whoever it was we first connected to, that's our guy. Always will be. Except I really liked Heath Ledger as the Joker. Caesar was my first Joker, right? Adam West Batman. I really liked the Michael Keaton Batman. I thought Michael Keaton really pulled Batman off really well. I think he did a great Batman. Because Michael Keaton normally plays these disturbed people. I don't know why I said that. But it just worked. It worked well for him. Yeah, I'm loving the what ifs. Loving, loving, loving. Captain Carter looks great, doesn't she? She looks amazing. Sideshow G.I. Joes. I've got the 3 Fison males, 33, 34, 38, I think, which is the tall one. Don't remember. We can go over those one day if you want to. I made the one of them into Captain America. Worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. Or two because of your last Saturday. So thank you. Yeah, perfect. I have Hawk, Duke, Flint, and 3-0 Snake Eyes. Wow. Satchel Joes really need better bodies. Yeah. I was really impressed with the way that Fison worked for Captain America. It worked great. It was the I needed it for his SSR uniform, his army uniform from World War II. That's what I needed his body for. Because I got the uniform but no body, and I wasn't going to take apart a Captain America for that. If you're going to discuss it with Bruce, I think it's because he had sex with killed Lois family. What? Plays Hawk with a Fison. Looks good. And keeps the poses better. Iron Strange. I've ordered Iron Strange, I think. And Zombie Spidey. I think I ordered all of that. Venom. You're talking about the new Venom that was which Venom are you talking about? The one we did right was doing Venom 2 voices. Love that. Yeah, this Venom that they came out with last year or the year before. Was it 2 years ago already? That's been out. I think they did it really good. The timeline's evidently screwed, so I don't know how they're going to fix that because those of us that know Venom, even though he's got multiple storylines for his creation, with one of them being that he came back attached to a spaceship that Jonah Jameson's son brought back from outer space on his astronaut trip or whatever. The real story is the Secret Wars. That's the real story. And there's been an alteration even to that story in the Deadpool line. But the story is that the reason he had the white spider on his chest originally was because it was Spider-Man that he melded with. Later we see like a whole Venom planet and they all have them on there or whatever. And I think it was because maybe the writer at that point didn't know what the whole basis was, just said that they all have this spider on their chest or whatever in whole 9 yards. But we kind of missed that whole thing with the movie. They talked about New York, talked about working for the Daily Bugle. I mean, these were things that they discussed in the Venom movie, but they didn't expound on them. So it's going to be interesting how they finally decide to tie all that in. I mean, they started right with the Life Foundation in San Francisco, which is much involved into the story of Venom. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to tie all this in. And obviously, I swear to God, I hope Avi Arad and Kevin Feige are working on this, of getting this together. I really do. I really hope that that's the plan. I really hope that that's the plan, that they can make this a seamless integration and it doesn't become a flop, because Venom's a money maker if done properly. And I really hate what they did with Topher Grace with the Venom. I mean, it was kind of, oh, it was terrible. That was just ugh. So many things wrong with Spider-Man 3. So many things wrong with Spider-Man 3. They ruined it. They ruined it. And I have no idea why. It could have been so much better. I don't know what the deal was with any of that. So we have him in a nice, beautiful gray suit. Very shiny. He definitely doesn't look frumpy. Doesn't much look like him. Kind of looks more like Kurt Russell than it does. Gosh darn it. What is his name? I keep wanting to say Jeremy Renner, which is Hawkeye. I can't remember Bruce Banner's name. But I don't know. I see more Kurt Russell there than I do the actor that played Bruce Banner, from my opinion. It's like I'm looking at Kurt Russell. Like the outfit, though. The outfit looks great. Really digging the outfit. It's a real simple figure. There's his shoes. Nice high quality shoes. There is some frumpiness to it, but I like it. Arms seem a bit long. I wonder why. Have a fat suit on? They put a fat suit on this body. It's got a fat suit on. It's interesting. Would this be worth Fisonizing? I don't know. We're not trying to make him into a beefcake. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be mild-mannered Bruce Banner. Right? Well, speaking of, one of you who said that there was the perfect figures for making the Spider-Man, because I got a whole bunch of Spider-Man clothing that I need to put on Spider-Man bodies, and I'm not going to take apart a Spider-Man body to put him into casual clothing. Who is that? Who makes these bodies that I can buy relatively inexpensive? I'm not going to spend $200 on a body to turn it into a Spidey. Who is it that makes relatively inexpensive 1/6 scale bodies that I can use for Spider-Man, or even replace this if I wanted to have a better body in this, which I can't imagine why I would need to, but his arms just seem really too long. They're down to halfway his thigh. They shouldn't be that far. That's just too long. Something's very wrong with this body. Make him look oafish in that regards. No pushing up on that shoulder to do away with that. I wish I knew what's about it. Yeah, by comparison, there you go. That's where that arm should be. It's not that much shorter than Cap for that arm to be that much longer. So that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, he's not even a finger width shorter, okay, and this way more than a finger width distance there. So that's just an unscientific comparison. I didn't get the ruler out and do millimeters to actually do a true comparison, but the arms are too long. Carnage. Yeah, with Woody Harrelson. I think he'll do a great Carnage if he's allowed to. You know what I mean? Carnage is a full on psychotic, murdering, raging individual just off the freaking charts. And if they tone him down in any capacity, if they try to make him too cartoony, if they try to make him too funny, it's going to be a problem. Carnage is off the freaking charts. Cletus Cassidy is a murderous psychopath, sociopath, you name it. He's not well at all. And if they do him anything other than just full on insane, it's gonna it'll just be bad. It'll just be bad. Bruce and his wristwatches. I don't know if you can see that or not. Appears to be a leather band. Is Bruce a righty? If he is, he would wear his watch on his left arm. We know Robert Downey Jr. is a lefty, so he wears his watch on his right arm. I don't know whether Tony Stark was ever actually a lefty, but definitely Tony Stark in the movies is, because Robert Downey Jr. is. So if you ever put a watch on Tony Stark, Hot Toys figures, put the watch on the right hand. So he's a lefty. Goodness, I don't know if they gave us enough band here to go around the arm. It's adjustable. Oh, pulled it too far. I have my tweezers in my other room because I'm working on Crossbones and Deadpool from I think it's X-Men Origins movie, right? The one that Ryan Reynolds killed when he got Cable's time device in the other room there. If I can't get this back in, I'll go in there and get it. I'll be right back. Okay, maybe I won't because I don't see it in there. Where did I move it to? Is there tweezers in here? There is. I really need my pointy tweezers. I may use these scissors here. pull this too far out. I may have to put my glasses on also. What else do you do besides make balloon characters? Oh my God. He did not. He always antagonizes everyone, doesn't he? He's always looking for a fight. Remember in the comics, he had a suit for every superhero. Come on, Bruce. You're embarrassing me in front of the wizard here. It is interesting, though, that Stark had not met Doctor Strange at that point. And who are you? Doctor Strange. And congratulations on the wedding. I do like in the What If episode, they continued on this the joke of the name Doctor Strange. I do like that. I enjoy that joke. It never gets old. But yeah, if you're not watching the What Ifs, if you're not paying for Disney, if you're not catching Falcon and Winter Soldier, if you're not catching WandaVision, you're just shortchanging yourself. I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say something as stupid as, oh, you're not a true Marvel fan. That's not true. You don't have to see these. You don't have to see these movies or these shows, I believe, in order to stay abreast to what's going on. But I believe you're seriously shortchanging yourself because I can guarantee you, unlike with Agents of Shield and some of the other shows, not necessarily were the movies affected by the actions of the shows. I can guarantee you the movies will be affected by the actions of these shows. Loki especially. So, granted, they're probably going to tell a little bit of the backstory when the movie comes out in case you missed it to catch you up to what's going on. But why would you not just watch it? I mean, it's the same actors for the most part, reprising their roles. I mean, Chadwick Boseman did Black Panther. And one of you pointed out that it was actually Chadwick Boseman that did that for the What If. How do you top that? How do you top that? You know? Talk about a guy that gave his all. You know? This strap just is not long enough. So all that work, and it still just came apart because I wrapped it around his wrist. So they shortchanged the strap. It's not going on here. It might fit around this ball peg because it is a little bit skinnier. So it might work around the ball peg for the wrist peg of the figure. So his arms on backwards. So is this one. Got the arms on backwards. Don't try to put that around his arm. Maybe around the wrist peg. It's not going around the arm. A nice little nano gauntlet. I doubt it lights up. However, it is lightable. Okay. You can light it up. There's no light in it, but it is lightable. Had a little U-turn interruption there. Hope you guys are still here. And like I said, it's lightable. So that's cool. There's a little thumb piece there. Does that light up also? Yeah. So if you were to put a light in it, you can light it up, which is cool. Just put it on his rest peg, I guess. You're supposed to put a fist inside of that? I doubt it would fit. No. So I assume what you're supposed to do is one of these things. Put it over the wrist. I'm going to assume. So I don't remember if he wore this. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. I know obviously Tony did, and I know obviously the Hulk did, but I don't think ever Bruce had it on. So whoever you're going to put it on, there's no peg inside of it. You can light it up. It's ready to be snapped. It's in snap mode. It's very soft and pliable. All of it is. It's not hard. The thumb and the middle finger are glued together or molded together. They're not coming apart. Not without cutting it. It's nice to have a Bruce. And we get with him 8 green hands. So where he's changing or trying to change in front of the wizard, we have that option. We can, no, come on, Bruce, you're embarrassing me here in front of the wizard. So we have 2 relaxed hands. And I like how they did this. They just gave him just a nice little green wash over them. 2 relaxed hands. Two trigger finger hands, and actually, the right hand is a trigger finger. The left hand is kind of not the trigger finger, but two trigger finger hands. I think Black Widow's a lefty too, by the way. Two holding something fists. And two clenched fists of this. These are all the green color hands. And they're not green, like dark green. They're a transitional green, which is perfect for explaining what he's doing. He's trying to Hulk out. And then we have the exact same hands. Well, not true. We have, instead of a full-on trigger finger hand for the right hand, we have two of the semi-trigger hands, left and right. Whereas this right hand is actually the trigger finger. It's actually curled in enough to stick through a firearm. And then we have the two grasping hands for holding something, a sword, stick, Chitauri weapon. And then we have two fists in natural skin color. And there's this, which is the light, evidently, for the gauntlet. That's nice. They have, appears to be 2, possibly 3 button cells taped up with black tape inside of there with an LED. Actually, the actual LED unshaped. A square LED there. Little button switch on the bottom. I don't see anything on here that would keep this from turning on, so let's see if it turns on. And it does. And again, it lights it up very well. I'm not going to turn the lights out again just to show you, but it's bright enough if you can't see that. It's bright enough. It really is. It works well. I mean, and it's a not a pure white. It's kind of a blue white, which makes your mind think it's whiter, believe it or not. So it comes with some decent accessories for being a third-party figure, and I think he was a steal. I think he was dirt cheap. Dr. Green. Especially if Green Weebo was here. He's a huge Hulk fan. I would recommend this figure to you, Green Weebo. For fact. It's the only other Dr. Banner that we have. Blue Toys. Number 8. Blue Toys number 8. With mechanical glove, it calls it. Instead of the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Or the Nano Gauntlet. Mechanical glove. Would you say mechanic? Would you say the nanotechnology is mechanical? Interesting thought, isn't it? Would nanotechnology be mechanical? Maybe. Maybe, baby. I remember when I first saw this Mysterio, I was really worried that the globe was going to be terrible on his head. I was really scared to order him because of that. You think Happy's gonna die? Ambushed by the Goblin? Oh, I really did like that trailer, by the way. That trailer looks exciting. I'm really excited about the next movie. Jeez. I hate that we don't have a decent Happy figure. You know? Come on. He's responsible for the first Iron Man. First two Iron Men, actually. You know? Those were his movies. I hated that they've never made us one of him. Hot Toys hasn't. In any of his incarnations. I mean, hell, give us Happy, you know, make him a little beefy, and give us 3 or 4 head sculpts to represent different versions. Come on. He's worth it. Jon Favreau's well worth it. I mean it. He's well worth a figure. I'd love to see another Gwyneth Paltrow. Why do we not have a new updated Pepper Potts? Right? Come on, guys. Get with the program. I remember when I was in the movies watching this movie, and Mysterio says he's from an alternate universe, and each Earth has a number, and he says very matter-of-factly, he's lying through his absolute teeth, as we know later on, but we didn't at the time. He says very matter-of-factly, and this is Earth 616, and I literally blurted out in the middle of the movie, no, it's not. Oh my God, really? Did they just make that mistake? For real? Because it's not. The MCU is not Earth 616, in case you didn't know this. The MCU is Earth 199999. That's the Earth number assigned to the MCU. Earth 616 is the main comic book universe. And Mysterio literally blurted out to Nick that they were on Earth 616. And that really upset me at the time. But then when I realized that he wasn't from another universe and he was just lying and making shit up, that would explain why they just used 616 threw it out there just to make it, I don't know, like an homage to the whole thing. But no, don't be confused. Don't think for 1 second, because of what is stated in that movie at that moment by Mysterio, that Tom Holland lives, or the MCU lives, in Earth 616, because they don't. It's Earth 199999. That's the Earth number that the MCU is. In the Into the Spider-Verse movie, they show the Earths that the ultimate Spideys come from. Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir, Peggy, Peter B. Parker, Spider-Gwen, and one of them's from Earth 616. So I'm guessing that would have to be old broken bum Spider-Man. He would have to be the 616 Earth Spidey. It's not Spider-Gwen. She's not from 616. You could possibly argue that possibly Miles is in Earth 616 in that movie, but he's not, because that's the he wasn't brought in, and they have up there, you know, the Earth numbers that they put up there, and Earth 616 was one of them. So it would have to be either Broken Hobo Spider-Man, Peter B. Parker, or Penny from the future. Only thing I can assume. Because wasn't Penny from the future? She wasn't from like this timeline like right now, was she? But they specifically put that up there. And I hate if people are just throwing stuff around because they think they're paying homage to something when it's literally trying to explain where you are in regards to things. And if they're trying to tell us that Spider-Gwen or Spider-Noir, or Spider-Ham came from Earth 616. It doesn't add up. Totally. And even Peter B. Parker is hard to swallow because he's Peter B. Parker. So, only thing I can assume is it must be Penny. Only thing I can assume. Unless you guys heard otherwise. Not going to be able to get him out of here until we get everything out of here. Because his cape is wrapped up around there. Lobster claw, which I hate those lobster claws. Some batteries. Ticketed pose stand. A something that holds nothing. What the hell is this for? Why is that there? Just to hold the articulated pose stand in place? Jeez. A couple of clenched fists. I like this muted color on him. Was he muted? Were his colors muted in the movie? Couple extended, reaching, grasping style hands, holding something together in your hand type hands. What are these? Can't tell if these are black or dark green. Truthfully, I think they're black. A couple of black wrist pegs. Black wrist pegs are nice. We have a couple of pieces to hold the cape on his shoulder. I'm guessing possibly there's a pose that we do without a cape. Maybe, and that's why those are there. We have a Jake head sculpt that looks very much like him. Looks good, actually. I don't know. Looking at him, and maybe he's really shaped like this. It looks like as if they scrunched his front of his head too tight compared to where his ears are. I would assume he'd be a little more shaped well without his eyes and that portion of his head being so close together. Something just appears off by looking at this. And he may actually look like that. That may actually be him, but it just appears off. Something just doesn't sit right with me. But I see the actor. I don't look at this and think, who the hell is this? I see exactly who it's supposed to be. But he appears off for some reason. I don't know exactly what it is. Something just doesn't sit right with me. Love that Hot Toy smell. Brand new Hot Toys. Figure base. I believe that is everything. He looks great. He looks great. I I really need to start watching these movies before opening these. I've seen the movie, obviously. I'm just saying to refresh myself on these characters. It's nice to finally see that not taped to death. To be able to take that off easy. Normally they tape it to absolute death and you have to just cut it all off and possibly potentially damage the figure. Savon Mason, are you here, man? You should be. This is a bad guy. He's our bad guy collector. Pretty much exclusively collects only bad guys. I like the way they did this cape. I like it. It has a wire at the bottom of it, and it's accordioned in. As you can see, you can stretch it out or leave it accordioned up. It's going to be great for putting it into whatever poses. I don't feel any wires back here, so there's no posing here. So if you wanted to run your own wire through it, or there's a guy that does that, you want to send it to him to have it done, you know, there's that option. Cloak's beautiful. The robe is beautiful. Yeah, Bruce Campbell was supposed to play Mysterio originally. Not in this movie, but in Spider-Man 4, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 4, Bruce Campbell was going to play the role of Mysterio. By the way, Bruce is related to Avi. Bruce was noted as being the only one to... He named Spider-Man in Tobey Maguire, as he was the wrestling guy. He can claim that he defeated Spider-Man because he was the attendant outside of the playhouse where Mary Jane was performing. And because Spidey was late, he wasn't allowed in. So he defeated Spider-Man. He named Spider-Man. He defeated Spider-Man. And he thwarted Spider-Man as Peter was trying to propose to Mary at the restaurant. And he was the maitre d' there. So what I'm doing here is I started messing with this because it got caught coming out of the box. This is all mucked up, so I'm trying to get it to look like this other one here. Trying to fold it to get the same appearance as the one on the other side. And this first seam even is not even proper of this. So it's a little bit of a mess. And as we know, anyhow, you look at it, we don't ever really display the backs of our figures anyhow. So what does it really matter? I don't know. What does it really matter? Some of these you almost want to put them on a rotating base just to see the beauty of that. You know, this will really be the only time you'll ever look at it. And you'll be like, yep, there it is. And you'll never see it again. And it's just a beautifully designed cape that just won't get sewn. So unless you're putting your Detolfs in like the center of your room and you can walk around them, which I don't know if many of us have museums set up in that regards. There was a fellow that did like a coffee house, put a lot of his Iron Man figures up over in Asia somewhere. That was cool. So he might have situations where you have a 360 view of your figure, but other than that, no. All right, so it does have this seam on here, which really disturbed me. Um, I hate that seam. Okay. Um, the cotton candy inside of it looks pretty cool, I guess. It's not a bad effect. The seam isn't really that noticeable looking straight on it. All right. But I wish there was just another way of them doing that. I don't know what to say. I don't know if they should have gone through the added expense and impossible weight of putting a plastic or a glass ball there, because it could have been done with that. A solid sphere. I don't know. It's a nice effect the way this is. It looks really good. It's really appealing to look at. It really is. So it's just it's almost like I'm just being picky with this scene. They did a great job hiding it. It's literally past your eye of focus as you're looking straight on it, and even to some degree turning it. It doesn't stand out to, like a 30-degree turn. It really doesn't stand out. Then you really can't see the seam with just a 30-degree turn. Maybe a 45 might start sticking it out there, but it definitely is still hidden well enough. So I guess being that it is what it is, how badly can you really complain over it? You know what I mean? And here again, here's another piece of the figure you'll never see. You'll never see that ever again. Put it on display, and that's where it'll stay. A lot of detail they put into these just are never seen, and I applaud that. I why would I want just a half a figure? I want the full figure. Give me every little detail on there. Just in case some of you guys are out there making photographs or movies with your figures, you do need that. But for those of us that just display them, never see that. Never see that. I've seen some amazing stop action films that people have made with different figures, different themes, different characters. So I know it's out there. I know there's people that do that kind of thing. And I applaud that. Oh, we got a loose string here. Got a bonus piece from Hot Toys. Thank you, Hot Toys. Very rare and collectible item, the loose string. I have one. Do you? Do you have the loose string edition? Did you buy the extra exclusive loose string version? You didn't? Well, pity for you. If you had, this piece will be worth $1,000. Since you didn't, it's not. Sorry. Next time, order the one with the loose string. Oh, God, they need to have a Wong, right? Oh, by the way, I ordered the 10 Rings characters. I hope that they gave us a Benedict Wong. I've ordered the ancient one. I missed her the first time she came out by a third party, but I ordered this new release of her. So, yeah, we need a Benedict Wong. For real. Not kidding you. Oh, special exclusive edition. Add-on instructions warning. It makes old new batteries. Do not charge or non-rechargeable batteries. Rechargeable batteries are to be removed from the product before being recharged. Battery installation, changing rechargeable batteries, and parts assembly should be done by an adult. This is an adult collectible. Don't forget that, guys. Batteries are to be inserted with the correct polarity, and exhausted batteries are to be removed from the product. All batteries should be removed from these products. Do not keep batteries in any of your hot toys. Unless you're using like a AAA or AA or lithium ion style of battery, which does not dissolve, explode or fall apart. But any of these batteries, the silver oxides or whatever that they're giving, the mercuries or whatever it is, they explode and they rot and they will destroy your figures. So don't. If you buy an old figure that's 2012 or something along that line and still had the batteries in it, came from Hot Toys with them pre-installed, open that box and get the batteries out. And pray you haven't destroyed the figure already. Don't look directly at the LED light. It may be harmful to you. Change the batteries and observe the status of batteries regularly to avoid leakage, which may cause damage to the product and its electricity system. They will leak. There's no may to it. They will leak. There's no may to it. They will. Never short circuit the battery terminals, and note the above situations are not included in maintenance nor replacement. A little add-on that they had to give us here. Probably because they weren't certain if they were going to like this figure or not. It's probably on the drawing table until the very end. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Wow. Okay, so we have Doctor Strange style holders here with actual finger placements in them, it appears. So there you have it. You can actually put the fingers into the spot. So there's a left and a right of these, and they will hold. So that's nice. The fingers are pliable, so you can move them around to get them into here, because you're going to need to move them just a teensy bit to get them to fit in there, and then shove them in there good, and they'll work. Holds up well. So there they're showing you that, putting the hands in there. Down here they're showing that the arm gauntlets are sharp. Be careful in dealing with those, and don't try to take the armor or the cape off. It says they're not designed to come off. So if you do, you're customizing your figure. Outfit and indicated armor parts are not detachable. Don't try to take it off, otherwise it may get damaged. So it doesn't say the cape, but it shows the armor around there. So I'm assuming the cape can come off. Luminous reflective patterns on the costume can be viewed under UV black light. Product does not include a black light. So that's nice. Instead of them lighting them up, you can light them up with a UV light. I wish that they would sell more of those. There was somebody that was selling those, and I never bought one. I wish I'd had. They made a few of them for the neon Iron Man and for Spidey and for Black Panther and all that, and for Thor. Um, and I never got around to buying one of those. I wished I'd had. Shows the way that these work. If you haven't seen these versions of articulated posing stands, this just pops off. It's just a cover, and you kind of need this cover because this is black tape that's wrapped around this spindle, this articulated pole. This black tape ends here, and you kind of really need to keep it from unfurling. And then the way this works is this is flexible. It's designed to go over here. You can tighten this down, but this is a solid piece. It's kind of difficult to tighten something that's solid. And then you would just place this back on it. And in theory, this rubber piece is supposed to keep it from sliding down, but I'm guaranteeing you it's not going to hold it forever. The good thing is he's not a real heavy figure. So putting him into a flight pose with this, which is the advantage of these, is you can put him to different heights, isn't really going to be that much of a problem, truthfully. He's not like putting an Iron Man on this system. So it'll hold him. Eventually he'll slide down, though. So that's how that works. Just in case this is your only hot toy you've ever owned or plan on owning, or it's your first hot toy that you've ever purchased. And if it is, good choice. It's a good looking figure. I like the way they did the ball, his helmet to some degree. So I'm not full on hating on it, but I'm not necessarily in love with it either. The outfit is not detachable. Don't try to take it off, otherwise it may get damaged. Do not excessively bend the arms and legs or bend them outward, otherwise the figure will get damaged. So I'm not going to sit there and bend them to stretch them out to this far, and it can go like this. You can bend the elbows like that, and move the shoulders around like this and all that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to damage my figures. I mean, they get damaged enough as it is. He's probably going to stand forever in this type of a pose. Do not place figure in areas with high temperature and humidity, otherwise it will be damaged. Keep that in mind. All right, so there's an interchangeable head sculpt here and an LED light up head. A lot going on with this. So I'll show it to you. And then I'll fumble through it myself. See if we can figure it out. There's the instructions on that. I think I could Bro Thor, yeah. Woo Toys, as a matter of fact, made a Bro Thor, didn't they? So that's who's made this. Woo Toys made a Bro Thor. Logan never got revenge on Mysterio for making him kill the X-Men. One of my favorite comics was Spider-Man versus Wolverine, and a lot of times these heroes would fight against each other because they didn't know who the other person was. They didn't know they were a good guy. And the scene I remember specifically in the comic was Spidey literally slugging it out against Wolverine in a cemetery, and he's more or less, as he's punching him, more or less saying, I've just about had enough of you, and just punches him right through the marble headstone. And I just thought that was interesting, Spidey finally able to unleash, and that's the thing, he's so super strong that he has to hold back many times, because if he were to punch a human with his Spidey strength, he would just crush your skull. You'd be dead if you ever punched a human with this full-on Spidey strength. We wouldn't survive it. So Spidey always has to pull his punches. Which reminds me of another comic. Spider-Man was trapped under the subways, and many subway cars had fallen on top of him, and he had to use his strength, including his rush of adrenaline. He got an adrenaline rush to be able to lift these subway cars off of him. And at the bottom of the comic, there was an editor's note that more or less said, by the way, for those of you keeping track, yes, at this very moment, Spider-Man is lifting more than the Hulk is capable of lifting. So keep that in mind. Spider-Man in an adrenaline rush was more powerful than the Hulk. And remember, that's kind of what Hulk's thing is. He's on a giant adrenaline rush, more or less. Spidey's no joke. Spidey is no joke. All right. Let's see. Tilt the head forward to remove the LED light up head sculpt in the sequence as shown. It's very interesting to use this weird typeset on this that I've never seen. Indicated area is fragile. Which indicated area? This little area here is what they're saying is fragile. Right here. And it says to pull up and tilt forward without damaging this area here. It's loose. It's very loose. It's not difficult to pull, but I'm trying not to do any damage to it. So this piece slips down behind that. So I can see how you can end up damaging that if you're not careful putting that in. This has to slide behind the gold area in order to get this in there. So it's definitely a process. Definitely up and forward in this regards to get to that. So there's the inside of the helmet. It's like a cotton ball or something up inside of that to create the clouds. And like I said, they did a good job of it. I just hate that there's a seam there, but the seam really isn't noticeable. So it is what it is, right? I hate that saying. It is what it is. Okay, it appears that the switch goes to the front, by the way, because this is angled. So the switch is the front, the battery compartment is the back. So now that we have this off, how would we put Jake on here? Remove the LED light up head scope and battery box as shown. Remove the cape from the back of the figure as shown. Indicated area of the cape is equipped with magnetic function. Indicated area is fragile. Be careful when removing the cape, otherwise it may be damaged. Attach the indicated parts to the chest armor, complete as shown. So they're showing the back as the fragile area, specifically an area I can't even see right now. That's cute. So I'm assuming what they're trying to show me here, and it's really a terrible picture, that this is what comes off these little pieces here. I'm assuming, like I said, it's a terrible picture, that this is what comes off. So there we go. And so the very top of this is what they're saying is the part that can end up getting broken. I'm assuming because of this hard piece right there, if you're not careful putting that in. And there's the cape. So interestingly enough, and I don't know what the decision was on that. Isn't that interesting? I guess to give him pivot it. But now I know where to get next. For instance, if I want to put piss off Steve here, I have a neck. Because I'm going to be displaying the helmet. Come on, for real. Sorry, Jake. It's Jake, right? In-game Hulk coming, huh? We are showing feet. You should have boots. I think we should get a team suit in-game Hulk. Pisses me off that we don't. I asked this a few videos back and didn't miss the answer. Ordered a Fison S25B for a kit bash, but the neck peg is smaller than normal. Is there an adapter to fit a normal Fison head? There is. So sometimes you have to take out the little pieces. All right? And I've had to do that many times on different figures. But these little neck things, you see it in there? They come out. And you can buy different neck pieces. So instead of changing out the Fison steel peg, you just put another neck piece in there. So there's different sizes of these that you would put in here to go on different sizes of those. Male and female. And that's how that works. Sometimes you have to steal them out of other figures. As your collections grow, you'll end up with head sculpts laying around that you're not using, and then you can just reach in there and pull out the little neck piece that's in there. So I'm going to pull this out without breaking it. This one's not going to come out easy. I'm going to have to cut this one out. But same thing. It's in there. See the little hole to grab it and pull it. So you would just swap out those neck pieces. You can buy those. 1/6 Kit, 1/6 Outfitters. Places like that. Giant Toys probably sells the neck adapters. Not sure everybody know on eBay, there are different types of neck adapters for about $20 or so, for like a handful of them for $20. So then after you take the cape off, you put these little guys on, and they go longer side to the top. Which looks very weird. This just looks weird without a cape on it. It just looks weird. So That's my opinion on that. It just looks weird. I really need my screwdrivers. You know, I think where they are actually, now that I think about it, maybe in the garage. I was messing with my doorbell and needed the little jeweler screwdrivers to get in there. That's all right. This screwdriver is sharp enough. These are LR621F. LR621F or AG1s. Let's see how much fun this is going to be to put in. So one guy said to me one time, he says, "You're using plastic tweezers to keep from discharging the batteries, right?" I'm like, dude, these batteries last like 2 hours, period. That's my answer to that. Hot Toys normally includes tweezers with their multiple battery figures. When you get these little 3 batteries, no tweezers. Don't need those tweezers. Tweezers? Don't need no stinking tweezers. Let's see how this looks lit up. Oh, nice little blue. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to go in there. I didn't screw the battery in all the way, the screw to the battery case, because I was like, what's the point? I'm going to just unscrew it. That's what's keeping it from going in the whole way. So make sure you recess your screw. There we go. That looks nice. I don't know if you can see or not, but it's actually detailed. The clouds are actually detailed by thicker portions of the cloud and thinner portions of the cloud by the cotton ball that's up in there, so that you can see the texture of that cloud, like a popcorn. So I don't know if this is coming through as just a giant bright blub, but it looks really nice. It really does. Maybe it's better with the lights on. I don't know. Let me turn it off and see if you can tell the difference. It's a nice effect. I do like it. There, maybe you can see that. There you go. It's a real nice effect. It looks really nice. And I'd really like to see an affordable way of AC powering these figures up. I really do. It really can't be that difficult for a genius. Tony Stark built one of these in a cave with parts. Sir, I'm not Tony Stark. I could probably power my house for 5 minutes with all these batteries that have accumulated over the years. But no, I will not be displaying him without his helmet. I will not be displaying Jake by himself, unfortunately, I hate to say. Unless I happen to have bought 2 of these, and I don't think I did. Sorry, Jake. Maybe I can find some sort of casual outfit to put him in or something. I don't know. Put him on a Fison body or something to that effect. I really need to find bodies that aren't huge muscular bodies for Spider-Man. For Jake here, he's not as big as Captain America, you know. See that? See. Jeez. Hot Toys quality. Hopefully no draft neck here. Let's see. See if I have a Steve neck now. Nope. Got a giraffe neck. Trying to give me a Steve here. Come on. Yeah. There we go. Thank God for Hot Toys quality. I can have a pissed off Steve. Let's get this cape back on. So I got to remember, be careful putting the cape on this little metal piece back here. Don't want to damage that going on it. This went inside of it, right? Didn't it? Oh, come on. Did it go inside of it or outside of it? No, that's attached. Did it go inside the neck? No. So it goes on the outside. It doesn't go inside. Because that's attached to the suit there. Why does that not look right? No, it's got to go inside. It's not attached. And that's not attached, so it goes inside the gold armor, outside the green armor. It slides in between the two. Because when I lifted it up before, I couldn't see that. So it has to go inside that. There we go. Easy peasy. Batteries out of this. Remember, the switch goes to the front. Battery compartment goes to the back. It's important to know because this is angled. Slide it in like that. Goes under the gold armor over the green suit. Easy peasy. So there we have it. I love it. He's a welcome addition. The These little pieces have flat to them. It's definitely molded in two different pieces here. See that here? Two different pieces of a big seam there. But it doesn't appear that it comes apart. I imagine if you so wanted to customize these, you could. Same thing here. Two parts. But it's totally glued together. Also, I imagine this can come apart. Looks like there's possibly a little piece in there that could be separated. So maybe if one of you industrious individuals wanted to run LEDs up and through there, it's quite possible it could be done. Quite possibly could be done, possibly. Quite possibly could be done. That'd be interesting to see if any of you decided to do anything along that lines. Very interesting. So then these, I imagine, can just go right around. There's no exact that I can see base cutouts to it. So you would just put it wherever you wanted, or even without the base. Something along that lines. Getting yours up Tuesday. Ironmonger DeBale got it for $510. Nice. Save on. Let me know what his thighs look like. Were you able to examine that before you purchased it? I've not seen one that didn't have damaged thighs. I guess Scorpion knows who Peter is now. I think everybody does. In the new movie, everybody knows who Peter is. But yeah, since Scorpion's in jail and Vulture got sent to jail with him, and the Vulture knows who Peter is. But, you know, gosh, J. Jonah literally busted him. At the end of this movie, J. Jonah announced. And in the trailers to the new movie, that's the whole premise of the movie, is that everybody in the world knows that Peter is Spider-Man. And that's the premise of the new movie, is that Peter goes to Doctor Strange and asks him to make it so that nobody remembers that he's Spidey. And Doctor Strange, again, doing things he shouldn't be doing. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, if you're not watching the Disney series, Loki and Scarlet Vision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and What If, I think you're really missing out on some of the key things that are going to be happening in these movies that are upcoming. I did sell the van. Thank you, Robert. And by the way, do not take a cashier's check thinking that you're going to be able to deposit into the bank immediately and they're going to recognize it as guaranteed funds, because they don't. Even though on page 33 of the depositor's agreement, it specifically states that cashier's checks, teller's check, government checks, city checks, county checks, federal checks, and United States Postal Service money orders are not to be held and are to be treated as cash. Banks don't do that. You put a hold on my deposit. Certified funds, cashier's check from a real bank, magnetic ink, whole 9 yards. Even though I pointed it out to them on page 33 of their depositor's agreement. Don't take a cashier's check. If you're selling anything and you want money, tell them you want money. Look at the teller. Make the person take it to the bank to get the money out of the bank if they don't have it on their hands. And look at the teller and say, I want $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. Oh, they're going to give you the weirdest look in the world. They're going to say, we don't have that. Because they don't. None of the banks have money anymore, by the way. You can't take money out of the banks. They don't have any money in the banks. If you're taking out anything more than $10,000, they require you to give them at least 24-hour notice so they can get the money in the bank. But if you want your funds and you want to make sure that your money is not being held by the bank for a week, 10 days, get cash. Cash. Greenbacks. Or get gold coins. Those work just as fine. Don't get a cashier's check. They ain't what they used to be. Banks are idiots. says right here on page 33 of your depositor's agreement that you accept them without holding any money. Put a hold on it. Landlord's son was in a car accident and she bought one of those vans. Oh, wow. Don't see anything too bright. I talked about when I was doing that. You could always buy just a Mysterio body without a head and accessories. Should be cheaper than you would have too. Yeah, that's true. Probably be about 150 or so without head or skull accessories. Yeah, I love you guys that are disassemblers. I've bought many pieces from disassemblers who buy these pieces and sell the arms, the legs, the hands, the head, the back, the cape, the suit, and all that. I've been able to do a lot of things with those. A lot of things with those. My Johann Schmidt was done that way. And I think I did the same thing with Drax, if I remember correctly. Maybe I bought 2 Draxes. I don't remember if I kit bashed the second Drax by buying Hot Toys pieces. And of course, all of my Iron Men up on the top shelf here that have flame effects on their feet and hands. I bought extra feet and hands. And then I had a Mark 7 that the wire was broken in the arm and wouldn't light up the repulsor thruster on his hand. So I had to buy a whole new arm. So, and the Mark 6 was missing some of the arm pieces, the missiles. So I was able to buy those. So God bless you guys that sell those, that buy these and bash them out. I assume you're making enough money that you sell them piece by piece by piece, that you make enough money over and above the cost of your Hot Toys. So I'm glad you guys do that. Yeah, let me know about that. I hope that there's no crack save on. I do. I have not seen one yet that doesn't. I've not seen one yet that doesn't have it. So if it's there, you know, what can I say? If it's not there, treat it kindly, more so than you would any other figure, because it is an inherent problem with those. They crack right there on the hips. Check my video out on it I did a few years back, and it shows that. You'll see the cracks, no doubt about it. So I think that's all I got going. I really want to go see that Ryan Reynolds movie, Free Guy. I haven't got around to that. Of course, Dune is coming out. James Bond. Evidently, this is the last Daniel Craig James Bond. That's sad to hear. I wasn't so sure I was going to like him when he did his first movie, Casino Royale, I think was his first one. I wasn't so sure that I was like, I don't know if I want to like Daniel Craig. I ended up liking him just as much as any of the others. Probably my least favorite James Bonds were the one I can't remember anymore, George something or other. I don't even know if I've even seen that James Bond. Of course, not a big fan of Timothy Dalton, James Bond, and not a big fan of Roger Moore, James Bond. And just because all the other Jameses were just so much better. It makes it so easy to pick out the ones that I don't care for because the others were so much better. Sean Connery, probably the best. The late, great Sean Connery. Sir Sean Connery, probably the best. Pierce Brosnan, great. Daniel Craig has done a great job. Gonna miss him as James Bond. Gonna really miss him. So, thank you very much for tuning in. See y'all next week for fact. Like I said, if you ever want to, said before, if you ever want to send a tip my way, throw $1 out. I have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/SIRIEMERALD.com. Throw $1 my way. Let me know what you appreciate me. There are many of you that have done that, and I'm so thankful for that. I mean, for real, it just shows your appreciation and gratitude to me for what I do here in sharing my collection and answering your questions and being entertaining and just someplace to hang out and chit chat and whatever else. Like I said, if you don't feel like you want to send any money, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm here for you no matter what. Tip your waitresses. It's what it is. So, and if you have it, then thanks. Throw $1 my way. If you don't, it's not going to hurt my feelings. For those of you that do, thank you. I love you very much. Thank you. I love all of you guys, though. So don't think for 1 second that just because you don't, that you're not going to get the love. I'm going to give you just as much attention as I do anyone else, whether you give anything to me at all. You're not paying for the figures. $1 does not pay for Hot Toy figures, as you collectors know. And no, I don't need the money to pay for my figures. So I'm not making a YouTube surviving on YouTube money, which doesn't happen, to buy these figures. So this isn't why I'm here. But it is nice. Because YouTube don't pay shit. Um, and we'll be here next week. And go to the movies and buy the popcorn and buy the drink. Enjoy the cinematic experience. Scarlett Johansson is suing the business out of Disney. I hope that goes well for her favor because of their releasing the movie on Disney Plus Supreme membership, something or other version, which I don't have, on the same day it was released in the movies, in the theaters. So she's claiming that she lost revenue. And I think that that's a very good thing for her to do. So I'm all behind her suing Disney senselessly over that because that was a full-on ripoff. Because they were pushing that left and right to encourage Disney subscriptions. And then they turned around and bragged about how much the movie made on Disney Plus. So, yeah, and evidently that cut out her money from the cinema, which I guess is where the majority of her pay came from making the movie and not from the streamed version of it. So they totally jilted her. And I hope that she just sues them senselessly and just really wakes them up. I hope that it goes well. I really do. I hope that it goes well for her. She deserves it. That was wrong, very wrong for Disney to do that. 100% wrong for Disney to do that. Am I going to cancel my Disney subscription? Hell no. Just because they did something stupid or greedily or not to the advantage of the actress? No, I'm not going to revolt against them over that. I'm just going to hope that she gets her money. I hope she gets the money that is just due her. It's her character. She brought her to life. Scarlett Johansson created the Black Widow. She didn't create, but she created the Black Widow. Follow me? She brought Black Widow to life, and she deserves whatever income should be sent to her for the work that she did. Period. So, especially with that being her last movie. Okay? So that's my opinion on that. And I'm saying the cracks are cosmetic. It does not affect moving the figure. Let me go get mine, and we can see what we can think about that. Let me go do that. He's been standing up all this time, all these years, with the cracks. So, no, it doesn't keep him from standing. Okay? As far as that goes. So it's not like you can't stand him because of the cracks. I'm just saying, there's cracks in him. So thankfully, he's a 100% plastic piece. There's nothing die-cast in him whatsoever. The only metal would be possibly for LEDs. And where the cracks are, it's been a long time since I've looked at them. Give me a minute to locate them. All right. Where the cracks are right here. On this piece, right there, on both legs. I don't know if you can see it with this camera. I don't know if I would call it cosmetic, though. And it's on both of them. But yeah, I have stood him up this entire time with the cracks. And he stands up fine. I have no fear of him falling over. But every one I've ever seen is cracked. Every one of them. So, it is on the ball socket portion of that leg. So that is where the leg pivots. This piece fits on the ball socket. And that's what's broken, is this piece as it went over that ball socket. Okay? So that might be some of this looseness that you have because of that crack. Okay, but he stands up very well. To say that it's cosmetic, I disagree. It is a structural part of the figure. It's part of this that snaps onto that ball joint. So it is a structural piece. But because of the overall design of that section and the way it's laid out, he stands up well. And I'm curious, like I said, if yours has the cracks. Because I've not seen one yet that did not have cracks in it. So, and don't be too angry when you see the cracks, because they all do. Simple as that. But congratulations on getting an ironmonger. These been out of production for quite some time, and what a piece he is. So I was always hoping for a re-release of this because of the cracks in this. I was always obviously hoping for a die cast of it with the SS Buster, or whatever they call the one from the Captain Carter What If episode. You know, maybe that they're doing that piece. Maybe we can get another ironmonger. That would be a great hope. That would be a great hope. I love this piece. Love it. And I don't know if I'd replace mine with a die cast. Okay, that's stupid. I would replace mine with a die cast. Would I get rid of the plastic one? Probably not. Probably not. Would I buy the SS Buster or whatever it's called? Hell yeah. Nazi Buster, Führer Buster, whatever they call the one that Steve controls in the What If episode? Hell yeah, you better believe it. So yeah, congratulations. Enjoy it. I think you'll get a good kick out of it. He's very articulated. Watch my video if you haven't. Several years old. About this. Back when I used to do real unboxings. All right, so guys, I will see you all next Saturday. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've enjoyed you all, and I hope you've enjoyed me as much as I have you. I really do. And thanks for tuning in. You guys have a good one. Love you guys. Peace out. Yes, I want to stop streaming.